Yeah, that's a really good question. So, I mean, one of the things that I discovered while researching this book is I think the assumption is that, um, yeah, that basically governments fight cartels, governments fight organized crime. But in actual fact, the vast majority of governments, even the US government for many years, regulate organized crime. What do I mean by that? They basically take out some people that they think are too violent, aren't producing good quality drugs, or most importantly, aren't paying them.
Hmm.
The others, they get to pay 10, 20, 30% of their profits back up to the government. And so the government in Mexico since the 1910s has been taking a cut of narco profits, mostly local governments. So the most famous of which was this extraordinary guy who was like a revolutionary leader in the 1910s called Esteban Cantu, who ran like Baja California. And I mean, he made an entire education infrastructure, a road infrastructure. He put police on the streets. He got rid of bandits, basically through opium money, quite openly. Right, he would take this kind of cash, but other governors as well. From about the 1970s onwards, the federal government, that is the federal police of Mexico, and the army and the Secret Service, they took over control of the drug trade, particularly the coke trade. So there was this switch in the 1970s, and it was a pretty violent switch. So the federal cops started killing local cops because the federal cops wanted control. When I'm talking about federal cops, I'm talking about the Mexican version of the FBI basically took over control of the drug trade. Again, I think there's a tendency to think this is all conspiracy, but I mean, in my book, I'm not just quoting conspiratorially minded journalists, I'm quoting the Mexican Secret Service that is quite annoyed that they're not getting a cut of drug profits and the federal police are. So these are pretty, this is, as I say, this is not just the world of mad conspiracy.
It's crazy because the more interviews I get, I start to hear a lot of that. And one of the in particular was with Ed Cadron, who
Hmm.
thought it was very concerning that when El Mayo was captured, you know, the government got involved in like trying to make decisions. And so it makes it seem as if like, hey, you affected somebody that is kind of protected within the government itself. And that's where you start to see there's corruption at the highest levels. And that's when you say things like this, it's like you just further validate it.
Do you know, I'm going to be a bit, I mean, I don't even think the word corruption is a terribly useful term, right? So, corruption, think about corruption. I mean, every country has corruption. It's taking your and my tax money and then using it for private purposes. So, it's taking public money and then, I don't know, buying a car or buying a nice dress for your mistress, right? That's corruption.
Yeah.
This is kind of not corruption because it's not taking public money, it's not taking tax money. It's
Mm.
taking it's taking narcos cash in order to not imprison them, right? So it's taking actually private money, and often, yes, often these politicians are corrupt. Often they spend it on a new house. Often they put it in Swiss bank accounts, but actually, often they also spend it on stuff the state needs. And we've got these extraordinary interviews with policemen going, well, the reason I was corrupt is because my entire police force had no uniforms, no cars, and no guns. What do you want me to do? So I had to go and take money off some drug dealers to put some other ones in jail.
Oh
Is
man.
that
What do
corruption
you
or is
call
that
that?
just policing?
Is that
Fun? I don't know, man.
what do you call that? Yeah.
Good policing.
Working the system to your
Yeah,
benefit. It's Robin Hood. It's stealing from the rich, giving to the poor kind of concept.
kind of. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's near a kind of banditry or something. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So my question in your book, it dives into the influence of the U.S. anti-drug agencies in shaping Mexican drug trade. I'd love to hear more about that.
Right. So first things first is when I started this project, I thought, right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into the DEA's archive, right? Everyone knows the Drug Enforcement Administration, the tres letras, as they call it in Mexico. It's got this enormous reputation. So I turn up in in actually Washington D.C., ask where the archives are, and all the people in the American National Archives are just laughing. They go like, there isn't an archive, and they explained to me the DEA up to 1989 had its head offices above a strip joint in downtown DC. I shit you not. And then they lost the archive on the way to move it to the Pentagon. So there is no archive of the DEA, which I think perhaps gives you some insight into the nature of the DEA and the level of professionalism. The more I found, I did talk to a lot of DEA agents. They were, many of them, extremely actually pleasant to me, very kind to me. But I think one thing that the most honest of them realized that what they were effectively doing was putting very poor, mostly brown and black people in jail. And they were doing nothing to the supply of drugs. So they were very, very, the smart ones were really embittered by it, and actually kind of rather tragic figures. Yeah,